Well, I'm so happy you're here for day 3. This is so great. I am honored to be doing the Discover the Wealth Within, and today is the integration day. Woohoo! And I'm so glad that you're willing to tune in. For those of you live, thank you for joining me, as well as on the replay. So again, my name's Elizabeth, and I'm just inviting you to arrive by taking a breath in and just letting your body sink into that exhale to just relax. So take a breath in slowly and let it out. Long exhale. And just do that a couple more times. And make a sound, if you have one. And one more time. And as simple as our breath, we can just arrive in our body and in our present moment so much better. And so often we forget that we have that tool right here, right now. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the review of day 2, which is really quite the day where you do a lot of work on digging a little deeper into maybe some stuck patterns. And day 1, we really sunk into the wealth within, which is that unlimited source energy. We are energy vibrating at different frequencies, but that is where the source I call God lives inside us, in that deep, infinite well of everything. But we forget that we're actually part of that. And we think we're just our bodies or just our mind. And so to tap into that, the breath brings us right into that present moment, which is where we access that infinite energy. But often we hold patterns, and we get them often from our families we grew up with and society, and we start closing down, and our breath gets shallow, and we worry about money, and we forget that infinite well of energy within us to tap into. And so I shared a technique yesterday called the Abundance Alignment Technique. And the mentor that I've been studying with, his name is Tyler Watson. And he talks a lot about allergies and addictions. And you can find him on YouTube. He goes into the technique more than I did. And he really uses a lot of the tapping and breath work and affirmations all together, but he does it in a unique way. You can watch some of the replay on day 2 if you want to do that technique more, or get on YouTube. But his main point is we're holding allergies and addictions in our body, which stagnates the energy and blocks us from that flow of infinite abundance that's within us. And it can cause disease on the physical level and the emotional and the mental level. So it's important to just notice. That's really a big key, is just start noticing on a daily basis where thoughts start to arise that we might have gotten, that we didn't create. We did not own or create these thoughts, but we inherited them. And one of those inheritances is scarcity. So the scarcity shows up in our life in many ways. And we also allowed the emotions of fear and worry or shame, the shadow side, to come up yesterday and be acknowledged and really have a voice. Sometimes we just shut it down and we're not listening to what it's trying to tell us. And sometimes it grows as a scary thing, but sometimes just letting yourself acknowledge that it might have something to say, and it might be a teacher, is very important to just breathe into. And then I led you through a grounding exercise yesterday to feel that infinite abundance flow through your body. And I had studied with the Berkeley Psychic Institute and got the wonderful grounding technique from them. And they really use the imagination and tuning into your body as a way to access that wealth within. So we're going to do a couple of exercises here today to play. And I acknowledge one of my good friends in the circle. If you want to give a little voice to the circle. My friend Sophia, who's a laughter expert. I don't know if you want to say hello.
I love you so much. I'm sorry to miss you guys yesterday. The flow of laughter giggled me out. I was in my full wealth, and the full health of life. And I actually ended up doing some Lumi events yesterday and they went amazing. So
Good,
I was
good.
ecstatically illuminated by the wealth of the last one of the real cutting through, and cutting through all your past was really powerful for me. And actually, yesterday I did a whole review on it, and it only took me 35 minutes to change my whole entire life. Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
It was good. There was some juice. I was like, wow, Elizabeth, thanks for reminding me. And I
Wow.
just like, I hold you so dear in that because, like,
Mhm.
the reminding and the remembering, my dear, the remembering to honor each other. And I honor you so highly yesterday. Even though I wasn't there, I was really there doing the work.
Oh, yeah, I was tuning in and I knew you were circling around definitely, and I am going to give out the replay as soon as I find what the passcode is. But yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not tech savvy, but you will be getting the replay, which will be fun to have you listen to. I would love all of your feedback if any of you do share after you watch the replays. And, I want to continue that conversation. I hope that we all share what comes up for each other, because creating that safe container is so important because we all have such amazing perspectives. So thank you, Sophia, for voicing in. Eleanor has something to
I
say.
just want to say that there's 4 of us on this call, and on my screen, the 2 E's are on the top, Elizabeth and Eleanor, and the 2 S's are on the bottom, Sue and Sophia. So we make a very strong building block.
I love that. Yay. Thank you for bringing that up. I love that. These kinds of synchronicities are important to acknowledge, I believe. So I so appreciate you and everybody here. And I know Sue is driving, so we're going to pardon her for not being able to show her beautiful face. But I'm going to continue on because we have some fun to do. And of course, I love your feedback as we go along. And firstly, though, the first fun thing to do is to get into a state of gratitude. So I'm just going to invite you also to take another breath in and slowly take a breath out and feel gratitude for who you are. Really acknowledge yourself and where you're at today. And voice out, if you so choose to share, something you're grateful for about yourself and also something you're proud of. That's important to acknowledge. So just sit for a second and see what bubbles up. I'll start. I'm grateful to be here with all of you magical, wonderful women. I can't tell you that this is a dream come true. So I'm proud of myself for showing up and just doing it, because it's always scary to just take imperfect, messy action, which is really something I'm really good at. So thank you for listening to me. Anybody else want to share? You don't always have to share. I'll invite you to.
I'm really grateful that I can still go on my hikes every week with the hiking group, and I can walk for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and some of it's up slopes. And
Wow.
for Sue and Sophia's benefit, I had open heart surgery over a year ago, and it took me a long time to recover, longer than it should have. But I came back from the dead, and I'm here, and I need a lot of rest and naps, but I get through my day, and then I can enjoy sessions like this and
Yes,
enjoy my walks. And basically, I'm enjoying life, even though I've had to rewrite it a little bit.
I love that. Thank you. I'm so empowered by you. Anybody else want to share? No pressure. Thank you, Eleanor.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I really appreciate, like, from day one, whenever anybody shares, because we all have a story to tell. And, my story might inspire you, and your story will definitely inspire me. So even though there's no pressure to share, please do.
Yeah, right. We all learn from each
Because
other.
it really helps, and everybody's story is important. Don't ever think your story's not important.
I love that. So true. I know Sophia was going to share. Do you still want to share, Sophia?
Yes, I am grateful for connection and meditation and being present. I am proud of showing up and showing up authentically every day for thyself and also the whole. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. I love it. I'm honored to receive. And we have the beautiful Sue with us now. Do you want to share? Or you want to stay quiet?
And you guys, while I was driving, I thought, these women get it. They think the same way I do. And it's like, I feel so grateful that there's other people out there. We pass people on the street, but you just assume. So I'm just glad to know there's other people who believe like me.
So good. So good. Well, that's why I'm doing this, because I feel like we're in that phase of our soul evolution to really step into the circle and empower each other, because we've been isolated at times on the planet in many forced situations. I think of COVID, and that we learn from each other. Like you said, I'm grateful for Zoom so we can all meet, but it's so empowering to, like, you voice what you just said is, finding other people out there that are like, oh, they think like me, or, oh, I'm not alone in feeling that way, So thank you. That's why I love to do this. It just tickles me. It gets me laughing. I know Sophia would be happy to hear that. So I'm going to bring us into the next grounding to what we've learned and embodying our inner wealth. So I'm going to do a lot of breath work today and just tapping into our breath and notice what we notice inside. So I just want us to just kind of close our eyes again and just say hello to the inside of our body and really notice where our mind is at, where our heart is feeling, and where our body is feeling, those 3 levels, because sometimes we're just swimming in thoughts and people and past memories, and the breath is going to bring us back into the present. So just take another breath in and breathe out slowly, and allow those thoughts to be there if they want to. But as we tune into the breath with a slow count in and a slower count out, feeling yourself like a wave in the ocean. I always think of the belly first, and then the chest rising, and then kind of holding it at the top and then letting it go. I always feel like I'm part of the ocean when I breathe like that. And I just kind of hear the ocean inside rising and falling. And we come into that presence underneath all of the noise, and that is our infinite, abundant self connected with Source, which I call God. But throughout the day, we notice these limiting thoughts that are not ones we created, which I talked about before. We might have learned them from various places, but it's so important to catch yourself having those thoughts and question where they came from. So it's a little bit of review from yesterday, but I think it's so important to catch yourself in the moment right then and acknowledge that you can rewrite the script, which Eleanor was talking about earlier, that she rewrote the script, and think, what could I replace that thought with? What that would be more expansive or empowering to myself? Even asking, like, where did that thought come from? And no shame or no judgment on oneself, but just acknowledge that, we have packed on like mules, lots and lots of thoughts and beliefs and pressures from various places to be a certain way, or show up a certain way that really wasn't what we would have maybe chosen if we were acknowledging how free we really are, which is what I would love for us to feel in today as our wealth within is getting more embodied. So what would I replace that limiting thought with is really what we're going to play with today. And what I'm going to talk into is what really is wealth mastery. And it isn't about perfection. It's never really about making mistakes or having everything figured out. But it is that place to come from, that feeling that you're resourced inside yourself, where you already have strength, you already have clarity and connection and skill and capacity to expand into more of yourself if you begin to slow down. That's why I keep bringing us back to the breath and listen more deeply and quietly. Because if we're really aware and noticing these things, we can catch ourselves and start to redo the script and really feel, wait a second, I have a choice here. A lot of times I hear people say, well, I didn't have a choice. Well, sometimes it's just like, okay, maybe the whole picture was not a choice, but there was one little moment that could have been a choice. It could be the smallest thing. It could have been like, I don't like this conversation, I'm going to leave the room. That could be as much of a choice as to exercise, but that reminds yourself to go back into that infinite place of expansion, to say, I don't have to put up with something I don't want to put up with if it's toxic. On a level of just breathing. Okay, that person's talking to me, but I'm going to just take a breath and go into my quiet, infinite space of oneness right now. And they keep talking, but I'm going to just tune into myself. And maybe it's as simple as that, right? And so it's that knowing sense, or the knower that knows inside, to start building trust with, a relationship with, because so often we just forget. I know I do. Many times a day, I forget that the knower is within, and to really start to trust that more and more and more and more and more, because it's almost like the gift that keeps on giving. When you really tap in, it's like that intuition grows. Oh, that infinite source of oneness that I call God starts to say, oh, she's listening. Okay, I'll give her another little crumb in the forest, Oh, she's listening. Okay, well, we're going to pop in another idea that's just going to totally help her or just blow her mind. So that's kind of how I see it, which I'm sharing with you now. So knowing where your energy is leaking is another mastery skill. And that's another observation, is like, this is the awareness within that can notice as the observer without judgment or feeling shame, but more neutral, to see when maybe you're overgiving at times. Maybe your unhealthy boundaries arise. Maybe you're giving too much or too little. Maybe there's an emotional energy given to a situation that you needed to pull in, or maybe stand your ground more. Or maybe in business, undercharging or undervaluing yourself. So those are just ideas to pop into your head on where in your life do you let that life force energy leak out, and try not to go into the judgment of that. That's what I'm going to underline. So life force energy is infinite, but we also, in this finite experience of a human body, need to, as I'll use Eleanor as an example, is you need more time to rest sometimes. And instead of beating ourselves up, to acknowledge it. It's like, you know what, I'm off today. I need to regroup, and that is okay. And I think you can relate in yoga. Sue, she's a great yoga teacher, and just reminding the students that you teach, that inner practice. It doesn't have to be a big practice. Just a simple tuning in to yourself and your body is enough, maybe to replenish. Sometimes I just take a 5-minute nap at work. I have a full day, but I'll just lay down, breathe in, do my 4 breaths in and 4 breaths out, or I'll play with that too, with other breath sequences, 4 breaths in and hold 2 and 6 out. I vary it, but just noticing my breath and just lying still for 5 minutes just completely recharges my battery and I can work again. So it's tuning in on such a deep level that you're honoring yourself, and it's going to look different for everybody. But that's just another mastery skill, which is choosing small, aligned steps, financially or energetically, taking actions consistently. It can show up emotionally, mentally, physically. I'm using a physical example of that wealth within to tap into, because why did I get so recharged in 5 minutes? Well, I acknowledge that infinite place in me that's just like got, endless energy if I tap into it. But if I'm always just like, oh, I got to do this and I got to force it and, I got to go and I'm going to get a cup of coffee and I'm going to, go to the gym and I'm going to, that's all outward output, right? And so anyway, the wealth, go ahead, Eleanor.
Those days are over for me.
And isn't that the privilege of when you get older and wiser?
And after you've had heart condition, yes.
Yeah, that's a big slap in the face. You go, oh,
Yeah.
Wait, I gotta listen, It forces you to listen when you have those kinds of experiences. I'll pause there. Anybody else want to share or you want to expand on that, Eleanor?
Well, it's just interesting because I used to run circles around everybody, even as a single mom and, careers and all that stuff. And other people were very busy, but they all said I was running circles around them. I'm not running circles around anybody anymore, except my couch.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Like taking these nap times when I need them. Sometimes I can go all day, but not very often. But it just helps me to go deeper inside all the time because I'm not just sleeping, but I'm doing things that are quiet and, listening to webinars or Zoom calls or meditating or reading a book or something of that nature. And it just helps me to become more still and inward.
Yeah, it's replenishing and nourishing. And I think that's the balance, what I'm going to call the masculine and feminine energy, because we're so yang in output, go to the gym and get to work and get the cup of coffee and make my list of things to do. Those are all things that I attribute to the yang energy. You're going out with your energy, expending it. And that the yin is like pulling in and you're nourishing yourself. You're replenishing. It's that rest and digest, that restorative yoga I love. I go to yoga. I like the one where you don't have to do anything. You let gravity help you.
Yeah.
It's so replenishing, and that rest, because for so long I felt like I didn't rest. I didn't get a good night's sleep. I had nightmares. I was just always having very full dream life. Like I felt like I had to wake up to rest. I was like, I had a lot of busy dreams, and I'm thinking it's probably just all of my output all the time that my body's trying to catch up and, run the tape out and let myself get to that deep rest. And I really have to do that consciously. I have to create that in my day. Like I say, it can get busy at night.
Yeah.
The masculine, feminine energies to balance. And I think that's what's going to really heal the planet, when we really acknowledge each one of us has both, and we need both, and both have to be acknowledged for there to be balance. And it's not like, okay, I'm just going to meditate and I'm going to have good thoughts and I'm going to breathe and everything's going to come to me. Everything's going to just happen, just manifest, law of attraction. No, you actually have to take action. Like I had to put it out there, a message for you all to show up. As much as I wanted you to tune in inside, I didn't have to do anything. I just turn on my Zoom and there you are. But we'll get there later. Telepathy's coming. But you did
Well,
on some level.
there's two sides to that, I think. And sometimes we can let the mountain come to us. Like I want to do pet sitting. So yes, I don't do any social media. So I don't do FaceTime or anything. So I'm a little bit restricted. But I just put the word out there here and there, tell people I do pet sitting. And next thing you know, somebody referred me to somebody else, and I got pet sitting and companion work out of that same referral.
Right.
And
But you did
I
put yourself
didn't,
out there.
other than just saying this is what I do, I didn't do anything else,
Right.
you know.
But you
But
did bring it to you.
it came to me,
But you did
and
put yourself
I
out
trust
there.
a little bit,
Yeah.
bit.
Right.
And then I trust. I just
Yeah.
trust that it'll whatever. And then if I do feel inspired to do something else, I will. But I don't get up out in the morning and say, now what do I got to do today to make this happen?
Right.
No.
Yeah, that's a big one, trust. And I think that's what I'm reiterating in this class is trusting within, because so often we go outside to trust a teacher or learn a course, but to trust ourselves is really a biggie, at least I think for women, at least for this woman here that I'm living in this body. Any other comments, or shall I continue? You all are hanging in there well. I thank you for giving me feedback. So I'm going to kind of lead you through the wealth within, the inner wealth inventory. So the first area is your body. I want you to just kind of land in and feel your breath, be aware of your breath, and feel into the wealth in your body. And the question I ask you is, where do you already feel strong, healthy, energized, or capable? And just breathe into that area of your body and notice as you breathe out, just acknowledging that you already have strength within. For myself, of course, I feel strong in my hands because I use them a lot and I do massage work. And that's connected with my heart. So I feel like a lot of my strength is feeling on an energetic level my heart connecting with other people's hearts when I put my hands on someone to help them heal themselves. So that's just an area that comes up very quickly, but I'm tuning into my other parts of my body more and more to strengthen them and feel them more, because some other parts of my body have been kind of neglected because I've overworked and done all the things that need to be put into balance. But anyway, that's my feedback to share. Any of you want to share where you feel wealthy in your body? Or you can just let it sit there. Yes, Sue?
I feel wealthy in my body, in the fact that I feel as a 73-year-old woman that I'm very strong and I'm capable to do all these things. However, Elizabeth, in listening to Eleanor, I'm realizing that this is my ego speaking. This is not my inner self, because I seriously injured my back and it has caused me to have to slow down. And it's interesting to me, I've had to take a pause from yoga because I have to heal my back. And I'm feeling shame in even sharing that with you because I feel the strength in my body. And I have to rest. You see what I'm saying? It's the ego.
Right.
I'm not listening to my inner self. So anyway, I don't know where to go with that other than what I'm hearing Eleanor say is making a lot of sense to me, in the fact that if my ego won't let me rest, I think you've shared with me, your body will make you rest. It's better, but girl, I've got to be very careful. Here's Dr. Riley said, you can walk. Okay, well, thank you, God, I can still do that.
You have strong legs.
It's like, the center of your core. But so I'm feeling that this is, in my reflection, I did learn that this is a time for reflection, going inward, and healing. Now, where that's going to, and listening. I think you mentioned listening.
Yeah.
You can't do that if you're moving all the time. So
Right. Thank you for
don't
that.
like it, but you're
So
welcome.
powerful. That's so good. Yes, Eleanor, you want to comment?
Yeah, well, I just want to say back in 2014, I fractured my right wrist, but it was actually a shatter. It was pretty bad. And so I couldn't do yoga anymore on the floor. So then I went to chair yoga. So I just give you that just in case that might work for you.
Kiddo, that's what I teach. I teach chair
Ah!
yoga because I want people my age, younger. I want everyone to know that you can be stronger, limber, healthier, and have a better mindset. That's why I teach chair yoga. But so I agree, Eleanor, 100%.
Well, we're so in tune in this group. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. So, moving on, we're going to breathe into the wealth in our hearts. And I have a question here for a prompt, which is, what relationships or memories bring warmth, connection, or steadiness? Just pause a moment and notice who or what comes up to the surface as you breathe into the question. What relationships or memories bring warmth, connection, or steadiness? Of course, what comes up for me are my dogs. They were my grounding rods, and I walked with them every day, and I had to help them over the Rainbow Bridge and say goodbye to them this year. So it's really forced me to have to ground myself and create a whole new practice for myself instead of relying on them, which I really did. They were my guides. And so those memories bring up warmth and connection in a big way. I'll continue if nobody has any input. We're going to feel into the next area, which is the wealth that you bring into the world. So the question is, what skills, resources, opportunities, or strengths do you already possess? And just pause and notice what you already have within that are gifts or talents or skills or qualities that maybe you easily share with the world, but you overlook.
One of mine is networking. And I learned this a long time ago, back in the 70s when I was brain dead, but spiritually. But I realize I'm a networker, and I'm not one to do what you're doing, Elizabeth, but I can connect other people to make things happen or get them into a place that they would like to be or something of that nature.
I love that. That's a good acknowledgement of yourself, because that is such a great gift. Not everybody has.
And I like to have fun. So I guess I fit in with Sophia. and I've done laughing yoga. But when I do some companion work in a care home and the musicians come in and start playing, I'm up dancing. And the people love it. They just love it. And I have to be careful not to overshine the musicians because it's their gig. And so I sort of have to take a break and then maybe get up again. But I notice the people around just love it.
That is beautiful.
And sometimes I'll even sort of do a dance with somebody in the aisle in the grocery store, in the health food store. Well, we get chatting and then something comes up and we just do a little grocery store dance.
The happy dance.
Yeah. I would never have done that 20 years ago.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. So you really expanded into your more authentic expression
Yeah.
at this beautiful time of your life, teaching us all how to do more of that. Sue, I can't hear you, but I see your lips moving.
One of the strengths I have, I'm an encourager. I love to encourage people. I worked for Weight Watchers for a long time. And the reason I wanted to do what I was doing was because when girls would come to the scale, they were so down on themselves. They could not see the beauty and the worth and the good they were doing for themselves. And I love to tell them about it. And it's the same thing with yoga, like listening to Eleanor. I realize it's the same thing with yoga. I want to tap into that inner strength. Here's what you're talking about here is that inner strength that they have that, yes, you can do this. And no, you don't have to lift 600 pounds. You can simply lift your arms up, and I want them to realize, I want them to it's the same thing you're talking about, isn't it? I want them to realize the beauty and the strength is within them. All you have to do is do it. So that's exactly what's coming up for me here.
Beautiful.
And it's making me smile. It's making me, I'm discovering my own worth and sharing with you ladies. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. That's
because sometimes we normalize these things and we don't appreciate this is our gift. This is our God-given gift because we are God,
right
in the world. So, there's nothing to be ashamed of because this is who we are.
Right. That's why I really encourage using our voice in the circle, because often it's our throat chakra that gets shut down. Like sometimes we don't feel our value because, who's going to really care about what I do? Who's going to want to be interested in my story? And yet when we share, it just makes me cry. It's like, oh, yeah, there's somebody else. Oh, another beacon light in the fog, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, Sue, for sharing. I always feel more empowered. It makes me want to do this more.
Yeah.
We feed each other, And I know you've probably heard that story before, but I'll share it because it reminds me of that picture of heaven and hell. And a person arrives and they're shown the room where hell is, and it's people in there starving. They can't eat the food because they have these really long spoons, and the spoon is so long they can't reach their mouths. But then the person goes to the next room over and everybody's happy and feeding each other because they're using the long spoon to feed the other person, and they're laughing and happy and nourished. So I feel like that's such a great analogy to us. We're feeding each other.
That's awesome. Thank you for that.
Had to share that. It was a powerful story in that moment. So I'm going to move along if there's no more bubbling up of sharing at the moment. Is everybody feeling full in the moment with what I fed you? All right, the last question of this teaching of feeling into your body and your heart and yourself and how you present yourself in the world is, what is one place in your life right now where you are richer than you realized? And you might have already shared that, but is there anything else that comes up where you really feel richer? And I think it's reiterating what we just said, is that's where I feel richer, is when I do share my story and what's important to me. It lands on other ears as being valuable, and that I underestimate the power of sharing. So at the fault of reiteration, I will just say that, that I feel richer each time I do it. And notice how it feels to identify wealth without money. So often we associate wealth with money, but that was another inspiration to do this class, was how much wealth we have that we bring to the world in being who we are. We're really standing in that truth and authenticity, which does emanate out there and just attract people to you who are supposed to connect, like the people that had pets that needed pet sitting. So, that's the beacon. I feel we're all beacons of light in that way. When we shine, the synchronicities happen more. So I'm going to just move to a little bit more difficult topic that I definitely, need more work on, which are setting boundaries. And so when I overgive or overwork or undervalue myself, I'm not just losing time, precious time, but I'm losing wealth. I'm giving away life force energy that maybe wasn't so aligned with who I am or with the other person or circumstance I'm working with. So it's leaking energy, like I talked about earlier. And wealth mastery requires giving from overflow. So those rest periods are so important, and not coming from depletion. And so often that ego wants to just push myself forward and just do it. Come on. I'm like a coach in the gym, like, just do one more push-up. And on an energetic level, that doesn't really work. It's like, I think I need to just pull back like you're doing here, Sue. It's going to help other people that need to pull back when you share that story that, your ego wants to be strong. But you know what? The soul is saying, you know what? It's strong to actually just rest. And that is so opposite from the ego world. Boy, it's like, what? Rest? Are you kidding? You weak thing. I can hear all the voices just going, it's just like, oh man. So, overflow, my cup runneth over, coming from that place. The analogy of putting the oxygen mask on first, which my ego could not understand that. No, you put it on the baby first, stupid. But no, you gotta put it on the mother first, so the mother stays alive, to then put it on the baby. Okay, so we have that baby within us, but sometimes it's the adult parent in us that has to say, hey, I've given a lot. I have to really just, I'm depleted right now. Mommy needs to rest. And my little child is a tantrum thrower. I'll tell you, I have a very loud child inside me that I tap into now and then. And it can sabotage me to make me fall or hurt myself. And then I'm really like, okay, that child is actually in tune with the soul if I'm not listening to it. But it's like the parent that likes to be that part of me that likes to push forward, and I can do one load of laundry, and I can go to the store, and I can mop the floor, and I can do the cooking, and I can clean up, and I can fold the laundry, and wow, it's now 1 a.m. and I have to go to work at 8 a.m. What? How often have mothers done that? So changing it from being charging up your battery, from being in alignment with that soulful connection of sourcing from within, and not coming from that lack or scarcity or greedy place of the ego that at times likes to be in the world with overdoing. And saying yes to that clarity, instead of fearing that, oh, people are going to judge me if I just don't work this week. I can't tell you how many clients would tell me, like, what? You're going on vacation? And I'd be like, but if I tell them I'm working at a cancer retreat for a week, which to me is my paid vacation, it's very beautiful there and I get a lot of rest time, but I don't say that. I just say, I which isn't lying. I say I'm working at a cancer retreat. Oh, that's good. That's good work. You're doing good work. We're so trained to have to be productive. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to not even tell them that I get to sleep in. I only do 2 massages a day. I get some rest time. I get to remind the people there to rest, So it's a privilege for me to have that experience, and that they hire me to do massage work at this retreat center. So it's going back to that trusting your value instead of trying to prove it. And so I know the more that I rest, the more that I'm in balance, the more that I stand up with clarity to say, yeah, I need rest. That gives permission to somebody else. Quite a few of my clients I can name off right now, which I won't, that need to stop and rest. And when I say that I am doing that, I know that's going to reach somewhere into their psyche to maybe ask themselves that maybe they're doing too much. And that's always a constant reminder for myself. So reclaiming the energy that has been leaking out and noticing that is a really good practice. And that's, the boundary setting. And that's sometimes hard for me to say no to people. Feeling into my body and identifying one leak, choosing that one place that I habitually give too much and receive too little has been a very, let's say, ego bruising activity. So I invite you to just identify one leak that you maybe do habitually. You might give too much or receive too little, and you make it okay. And that's been, I can write a whole book on that, and I'm sure there would be people that would read it about where I've leaked energy and I've allowed people to be in my life that were really good at taking, and I was really good at giving. And I can't even blame them anymore. I've come to that realization. I allowed that to happen, and I chose, and that was a big lesson. And I learned through relationships, whereas some people learn through their physical body getting hurt. And I'm sure you were humbled by your heart condition, Eleanor. Things like that show up in our lives, and people show up to just bring us into these awarenesses of how do we balance. And sometimes we're just forced into it. People just show up in my life and they force me to have to say, this is not good for me. And I finally realized with a friend years ago that she stayed in my home, and it was very painful for me to have her stay so long. And yet her circumstances won over my circumstances, and I let her stay. And finally, in acknowledging myself, without any anger, without any emotion that was going to, be defensive, I just said, it's time for you to go, and I cannot do this anymore. I'm depleted, and it's really, I have resentment, and it's not good for me, and it's obviously not good for you. And you're not doing well, I'm not doing well, so we need to shift this. And right as I said it like that, she got it. I mean, of course, she went into her like, where am I going to go? And blah, 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 blah. But I said, I trust that your inner knowing is going to come through, and you're going to figure it out. And I will be patient, but I really need you to go as quickly as you can. And she figured it out. That was an empowering thing for both of us. I spoke my truth. She found a way. And believe me, as soon as the money came in that she needed to go, I drove her to where she needed to go. And, that was freeing for me to really acknowledge without this harsh defensiveness and anger. I could get to that calm place within to just acknowledge that, I'm a human being. I'm spirit having a human experience, and this human being needs to acknowledge when there is some limitation. The spirit is crunched into this little body and having to go through 3D experiences, and it can be very difficult to be in my own skin and how to maneuver in the world. And just acknowledging with presence was like an aha. It was like, oh, could it be so easy? Could it be so easy to acknowledge myself and honor myself? Wow, that was just a poof, light bulb on, light bulb moment there. But how many other people that I allowed in my life that were toxic, and I didn't get it, so it repeated. It was a wonderful experience that another person came with similar problems and they stayed too long and I allowed it. So it was like, wow, okay, here it is. So I'm hoping in sharing my experience, you can reflect on times where you might have had some patterns show up that were just like, wow, I needed to have a boundary there. And thank goodness I made it through alive. That could have taken me down. I could have, really gotten so upset and maybe caused cancer or, jumped off a bridge or, whatever. But that's another gratefulness that I'm here today and I can share it with you. Hopefully it's a teaching tool now, right? Because often we can use our follies, our weaknesses, our mistakes as teaching moments to say, we're not going to get this perfect. I am convinced on 3D reality Earth, it is about being messy. As tidy as you want to be, something's going to come through and blow all your papers off of your desk, or a tree's going to fall on your house, or a hurricane's going to flood, or let me talk to you about fires. I've had plenty of fires in my life. The next house I live in, there will be no fires in that area. So So I'm laughing today, and that's a good sign, Mm-hmm. So that's part of that sequence of teaching. Anybody have any feedback after I yapped for a long time here?
That was brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's very powerful what you share. And
thank you.
Like I just put down the word people pleaser, which is what that was for you, I guess. And that's a big tendency for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And just a couple of days ago, I had the opportunity to reflect on, it was nothing as major as what you're talking about, but just a little incident. But I didn't feel right about what I was accepting. And that night when I went to bed, I thought, no, I'm not doing it this way. I'm going to do it this way. And I did make a change, and that felt empowering. And then that's freeing.
So true. Yeah, you really just changed it midway, or, acknowledging. That's so good when we can catch ourselves like that, staying present like that. Thank you. I'm so feeling rich inside with all the sharing. I'm going to move on to one more activity. If I'm not taking up too much of your time, it won't take too long. I know we're over the hour, but I would like to end this integration day with an exercise that is using your imagination, and again, a bit of a meditation where I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and tap into your breath again. This experience is the time machine exercise of meeting your future self. So we're going to use our imagination again and step into the time machine. So I'm going to have you close your eyes and take in a breath and slowly exhale. And just imagine this time machine in front of you and think about stepping into that imaginary power of yours, what this time machine looks like, and step inside. What does it look like inside? Is it sterile and techy and metal, or is it cushy and soft with some light music playing and some pillows? I'm going to invite you to just find a seat inside, and as you sit down, there's a dial in there that you will turn to 3 years from now, and close the door and hit the start button next to the dial. And imagine arriving 3 years from now within an instant. It barely felt like you had moved, but the door opens and you get out and look around. What do you see? Where are you? What do your surroundings look like? Just notice that a person is walking towards you, and you realize It is you 3 years later, 3 years from now. And notice what you look like. What are you wearing? How is your posture? Just notice, are you hugging you? Did you come up and greet with a big hug or a squeal or share in laughter? Your future self invites you to take a tour and she's going to show you around. Just notice everything with fresh eyes. Are you living in a big home? Are you traveling and living in an RV? Is there anybody else around? What does the environment look like? Is it a foreign country or a forest or jungle, or are you in a big city? And it is now time to leave, and your future self hands you a gift and whispers something in your ear. You get back into the time machine and bring the gift and the wisdom words home with you. Slowly you open your eyes and you breathe into your body and slowly exhale and open the door and step out. And when you're ready, come back in the room and just acknowledge how you feel. Do you feel more wealthy inside? Take your time and notice what you notice. And if you feel like sharing what gift you were given and what she whispered in your ear, feel free, or just let it bubble up over time because it might be shared with you later as it crystallizes.
Can I share?
Yeah.
I didn't really get too much, but I had a great sense of peace. But the gift was actually a rose pearl.
Ooh.
And I don't ask me what that is because I have no idea.
You can mull over that for the next few years, 3 years, till you can ask yourself that later.
I double checked to make sure, and yes, that's what it is, a rose pearl.
Beautiful.
And a very soft, light color rose.
Ooh. Love it. Did you whisper anything in your ear?
No, but I just have this great sense of peace.
Yeah. Good. That was the whisper.
Yeah.
I love that. You want to stay silent?
In 3 years, I may not even be here. Maybe that's what that was about. That's very possible.
We'll find out.
Yeah, you will. If I don't show up on a call.
Right? We'll have an anniversary workshop.
There you go.
Were you going to say something, Sue, or were you just pondering?
Actually done this meditation a couple times, and it's not changing. The vision's not changing. I'm still in the same place. It's not here. It's not here because being here and walking out that front door causes such a feeling of dread. So it's like, okay, well then where are you? Well, it's the same place I went last time. It's in Texas. The feeling is that my family is near. I can't tell if it's a mobile home or if it's a house, but I can see the front of it. And I'm watching this person walk up, and I'm surprised because I look just like me. I'm as strong as I am. I'm as fit as I am. I'm as healthy as I am. And the gift she gave me was actually the key to this house. And what she said to me was, "This will happen."
Love it. Powerful. Ooh.
This
Makes me cry.
the gift and the key the gift and the key were new aspects of the thought.
Yeah, I love that. It's evolving. It's getting closer. Beautiful.
Well, this goes along with the saying about the boundaries and the draining of the energy. The reason I'm staying here is for the hope that a relationship will pan out to what I want it to be. And as time goes on, I realize that it's not going to happen. And I just keep leaking, and it's exhausting. And I'm not getting what I need back. On the other hand, I have forgiven this person for not being able to be what I need them to be, but I realize I got to let go. Anyway,
Huge.
and then
Huge.
So, yeah.
That's a huge
that happen.
Go ahead.
I just had that happen to me in June, and I kept thinking, oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And finally, he broke it up. And I was hurt at first, but gradually I realized that relationship was toxic. And he did me a big favor. And I just let him go. And every time I noticed the thoughts coming in to me, then I looked at that and whatever I did with it. But I wasn't trying to expect him to come back or anything like that. And now we are sort of on a bit of a friendship basis because we are in the same circle of friends. So that part is important if we can get that together. And I think we're doing sort of okay on that score. But it really was a gift to me. Like he did what I should have done months ago.
Right? Thank you for sharing that. You have any more?
Yeah. And when we let it go, that frees up the pathway for the universe to bring in something that's more suitable.
Right?
Otherwise, it can't come in because it's already taken up the space.
Right? We can't hear you. Oh, yeah.
I said it's literally being blocked by an unrealistic expectation.
That's right. That's right. And you deserve the best. That's what I keep telling myself. I deserve the best. And I'll just tell you, I was at a metaphysical meeting recently, and there was a man who's about half my age, but he was at the meeting, and we had a soul-to-soul connection. Big. And at the end of the meeting, like we were able to talk, and we just connected with our eyes. And then at the end of the meeting, I just found him and gave him a goodbye hug. He gave me the biggest, warmest hug. Nothing to do with relationship, just soul to soul. And we just held that hug for the longest time, and he was comfortable and I was comfortable. And then I sort of stepped back slightly and I looked him in the eye, and he already had tears in his eyes. And then I said, I really honor that you are balanced with your divine feminine and your divine masculine. The floodgates just opened up in him. He appreciated that so much because his wife, and there's a big strain. Oh, there's a big strain in the relationship. And I think his wife and his son don't, I think not only don't they honor him, but they ridicule him for what he's doing. So he appreciated that so much. And that showed me there's other energies out there than the one from my broken relationship.
Right.
And that's all I needed. That's all I needed. It put me on a whole new path of consciousness.
Wow, that's powerful. Sophia, you want to chime in?
Yeah, definitely. I am absolutely feeling like a lot of this has helped me with my relationship of 27 years that I have just recently broken off, 2 years. And I really feel like this has helped me transform that relationship on a higher level, more in the spiritual realm for me, where I've done all the timeline healing and stage setting for the next. And I did the whole reel of my whole family individually. And also, I did it for myself. And every one of my boys called me that day, and even including my ex, to tell me that they loved me and that they appreciated me. And so it was, the work isn't just done in the physical, it is done in the metaphysical realms that we come to have sanctuary within, that peaceful grace within the mercy for our own selves in those salvational moments. And I just really felt that grace overseedingly come into my timelines, me shifting to my highest timeline. And it just gives me like the pleasure and joy to be here with you, Elizabeth, and expansively grow through time together in our time machines. And my time machine was a lotus, and it was a ethereal lotus that really like was more like, I would say, a luminescent kind of shield that I went into, and it was ethereal, and it was all shapes and divine spectrums, but came back to the prime creator, that time machine, that I created, that sacred space. So when I went in for 3 years, it was amazing. The button that I pushed to go was a live space where the Lotus opened and shut and received that code. And when I opened the door just opened into this grace of a lead, if you can imagine, with a pool that was an infinite pool that you look out in. It's just like this half moon bay of ocean crashing and jungle on one side. And it was just so divine and so beautiful. And I myself showed up giggling, but yet in my own grace. You couldn't see it, you could feel it. And then I gave myself the biggest giggly hug and welcomed myself into my future self. And I actually had white hair, and I was cloaked in a gold weave-in coat jacket, like like a very flowing cape, and felt very one with everything around me. And as I looked around, it was a cement ledge that looked over and seated the ocean, and the home was like a Frank Lloyd home. Frank Lloyd Wright home, which I've always wanted to own. It's been a dream. He's insanely awesome to me, and I love architecture, and I love nature. I love how he combines that. And I was sitting in that dream space, in that state. And when I looked at myself, and everything came back into myself as one, I was her and she was me. And I was holding this beautiful golden wing necklace that had the heart, and it was like a gem that shined rose quartzy pink, and it was golden wings with fire coming off this heart, because it wasn't like a heart, but it was a heart that we share, all of us, in the divine codes. And it was expanding with the fire coming out, and the wings were coming off of that. And I put it on, and I entered the ship down with grace and gave her love. But I am her and she is me, is what we have came into. And we are we. And I came into the ship, and now I am present with everything, grateful and have mercy for this beautiful new beginning that I've decided and chosen for my own self-love, but grace for all humanity and the giggles for all the jokes that the divine bring to us. And when we fear, we have no fear.
Love it. Wow.
To be here, and to deliver the message, and not to be afraid is what actually she whispered, and to be free in the journey and to express myself in my words again and be the fantasy that I believe in.
Beautiful. Wow. I'm just in awe, as usual, of your incredibleness that you bring to the table here. And that lotus is going to stay with me, because it was like my imagination couldn't grab onto any kind of time machine looking like a particular way. So that was, I guess, what I was waiting for. It's like
lighting and glowing up like luminescent.
I got it when you described it. I thought, yeah.
Like all the luminescent colors of everything just pulsating through it. It's an ethereal vision of being in your own, grace of your tunnel, your tunnel.
Right.
It's going up a tunnel.
I'm thinking of that word Merkaba.
Yes, it was in a
The Merkaba or Merkaba, like talk about as our
Merkaba of a Taurus. That is exactly what I was in.
I love that. And I don't mean to cut you off, but my Zoom is only set for an hour and a half. So we have 5 minutes to just kind of close up. And I want to make sure, nobody gets cut off. So we have about a little less than 5 minutes. But is there anything else that's just bubbling up that any of you lovely ladies feel like you need to share before we close?
Thank you very much. Really appreciated this, and not just you, Elizabeth, but Sue and Sophia as well.
We did it, all four of us. We created a beautiful container, and I'm really quite humble and honored by each one of you and your sharing. And I will be sending some more emails a little bit more sooner than later, since I had a big gap in the timeline where I didn't send out anything for a while, but you all are on my email list. So the next great adventure that I'm going to be producing, I will share with you. And I do hope you'll keep in touch. I hope that you'll send me emails or poems that interest you, or videos you find worthy of sharing, and we can share that in the community. I know you're not on Facebook or social media, Eleanor, so we can keep it through sharing by emails or phone calls. I did lose my phone.
I can't do phone calls because the roaming charges are horrendous.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know you're up there in the Canadian side of the planet. Well, I'm just going to have us close by just tuning inside and coming up with one word of course, what we're grateful for and what we're feeling in our body. And just speak it in, and I'll just say I feel nourished and full from a really delicious meal.
I feel very joyful and abundant. Thank you.
I feel Go ahead, Sophia.
I feel very grateful and light and luminescent.
Thank you. I love that. And Sue, I know you were going to say something.
I'm grateful for who I am.
Yeah.
Revelation.
That's big. That's big for all of us. Really, simple as it sounds, it's really the treasure is within us. Well, I hate to have a good thing end, but I am so full and deliciously feeling rich, and I thank you, ladies, and you really made it such a special ending to a 3-day class that just really spoke to my heart today. So I appreciate you just joining me on this adventure, and may it continue. Maybe we share again. So we'll dream up other opportunities to come together. A wise women council and a wise woman sharing.
There
So
you go.
have a beautiful day. I hope you continue on having revelations throughout these next few days. Listen closely and take time to notice all the gifts that are coming through you. And
Thank
happy
you.
Sunday. Much love.
Bella.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.